Hey artists, today you're going to get back your artwork that we started from last time. If you have not gotten this far, you need to get that done first, so coloring in your cakes, coloring in your table and your background. If you are that far, then you're ready to move on to the next step, and you're going to need a white and a black oil pastel. And we're going to be adding highlights and shadows to my artwork. Okay, I'm going to start with my highlights. And I'm going to do a highlight on the same side of everything. So I'm going to do my highlights coming from this side. So here's my light up here. And I can add some white along the top of this cake. So I'm kind of tracing that oval shape that I had drawn. Bring it up a little bit, around. And I can add some white. This kind of reminds me of our balloon dog project, adding highlights and shadows. I can add a little bit more. So I'm not just going super hard right away, I'm going kind of soft, and then I can kind of build it up, getting it real bright right there. And then I'm also going to do it going down the side of this, going kind of lightly coloring. Kind of lightly, and I'm going to do a layer that's a little bit harder or a little bit brighter right here, so pressing a little bit more firm. Kind of like that. I'm going to do the same to this purple one. It's kind of hard to see where that one is. Lightly coloring it. Then I can slowly start to add more pressure. This is going to add that highlight I said. Just going to give it form. And I'm going to do the same down this side. Okay, last spot that I'm going to add a highlight to is the inside of this slice. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of white. So if this is my light over here, it's actually going to be hitting right about here. It's going to hit this little slice right there. So I'm going to go with some white down along here. Lightly kind of color it. That. And then I can press just a little bit darker or harder so it makes it a little bit brighter. Something like that. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the same with my black, except I'm going to do it on the opposite side. Now, black is going to get dark really quickly, so I'm going to go really, really lightly. I'm not even pressing down. I'm just kind of gently rubbing it on there. So you can see how quickly that gets dark. And that can maybe go just a little bit darker over here. Down along here. Gentle, 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 really, really lightly. Okay. I'm going to do the same to that purple. Trace the oval first. If you're having a hard time finding that oval, you can probably get a pencil and try to redraw it. Okay, and just like with my highlight over here, I got to do a little bit of shadow. Now my shadow is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to lightly draw this line going down the middle of that V, like this. And the shadow is going to come out from that line. Something kind of like that. Okay, so once I've got the shadows on my cake, last thing I need to do is add shadows. We call them cast shadows. So we've got the shadows on the cake. We also need shadows on the table as well. So it's going to be probably going to kind of come out from the bottom here, and you can use a pencil if you need to. And then maybe just kind of down this direction. Okay, kind of like that, and then I can just carefully fill that in. Doesn't have to be super dark. And not only is there a cast shadow on this table, there'd also be one coming off of this cake. Now this one's kind of tricky. I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing this right, but I'm gonna come out from this bottom here. Just kind of curve it. So it makes kind of this rounded oval shape. I can fill that in. And what's kind of tricky is this little slice right here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's just gonna go from this corner here, probably almost across like this. Something kind of like that, I would think. Okay, so if you're all done doing your table, or excuse me, your table, your wall, your cakes, then today you're using white and black to add highlights and shadows to your work. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Remember to start off really lightly, and then you slowly build up your pressure so that it gets either really bright or it starts to get really dark. Okay, if you press too hard to start off with, then you're stuck with it. We can't really fix it. Right, when you're done, let me see them, and then they can go on the drying rack.